Hello there, and welcome back to World of Warship Legends with Derka. Today I have a bit of an impromptu upload where I ran into a fellow content creator and now a community contributor named ARON. And we loaded up in a match against each other last night, and it ended up being the video that he's going to use for his Yukikaze review. So I thought it'd be fun to upload my perspective of the game and kind of a head-to-head competition. Before I go any further, I would say that ARON uploads great content, and he has a knack for this community contributor stuff. When I first stumbled across his channel a few months ago, he had around 400 subs, and now is at maybe like 1,700. So he's seen really fast growth, and that's just a testament to him being good at what he does. If you haven't yet, go check his channel out and give him a follow. So in this game, he is testing out the Yukikaze, which is the new Tier 6 premium Japanese torpedo boat that you get for grinding out the new Stellar game mode. I haven't checked out much on the ship yet, but I hear it's very similar to Akatsuki and Asashio, etc. We are playing in the British Tier 6 Fiji, and I'm currently using the Azur Belfast commander. I've been using, in this particular game, OIngenious, Flank Speed, Light Fortress, Fixated, and Refill Station. After the Belfast video, and been playing Belfast last week when it released, I've been kind of comparing Bruce Fraser and the Azur Belfast, trying to figure out what I like. This commander has a really cool base trait for British cruisers that brings firing and smoke penalty down. In our case here, it's around 4.6 kilometers. So this has its moments where it's useful, but for now, I'm just wanting to leave Bruce Fraser alone so I don't keep having to switch back and forth. It would be nice if Wargaming made presets for commanders so that you could have presets set up for different ships. For instance, the Azur Scharnhorst commander is fantastic on both Bismarck and, say, Odin, but you know, the perks you want to switch out and use Porcupine on Bismarck and then use the Torpedo perk on Odin, but you just have to remember to go in, switch them manually. It would be a cool quality of life thing if Wargaming added that in the future. So at this point in the game, everything's still pretty much even. We spawned in the middle with the Gneisenau and another battleship that decided to run and not help out too much. The Fiji is a very light cruiser, and taking any kind of damage or shots from battleships, it just doesn't work out. The other battleship with me, the Gneisenau, went down under the combined fire of their ships, the Akatsuki. He took several torpedoes, and a Nagato and a Gneisenau on their team. Looking back at the gameplay now, when we were sitting up there in the smoke, I probably should have been running sonar, and that maybe could have gave our Gneisenau a little more of a heads up, but if you know an Akatsuki's in the area, you probably don't want to be sitting in the middle of B-cap in a battleship where you have, you know, giant Japanese torpedoes coming at you every 50 seconds. But anyways, that's how the cookie crumbles. Over at A, a red Pensacola by ARON pushed into A, which I also wouldn't recommend, and he got rewarded with getting sent back to port. So at this point in the game, I'm really just trying to not get detected by these battleships and move back into a position where I can actually do something. In A cap, they have an Arizona in the middle of our cap, and it looks like he's being hunted down by our Minsk and another destroyer. But kind of watching the feed here, it looks like he gets the better of both of our destroyers, which I'd really like to see that guy's clip. You know, maybe he'll clip it and put it on the internet, but our Shiratsuyu and Minsk both go down, and the Arizona survives. I do get spotted by this Gneisenau coming out here, the Nagato, and so I really have no other choice but to kind of turn out and get in smoke. We just can't take any shots from these guys. Honestly, at this point in the game, 10 minutes in, I didn't know that ARON was on the other team. Still, just kind of lazily playing my game here. one of the drawbacks of using this Azur lane commander is only 2 smokes. Bruce Fraser has the option of fully packed, so you get 3 sonars, 3 smokes, 3 heals, and that is really advantageous. We'll see later in the game here that it's, you know, possible that the game could have played out differently had I had those extra consumables. So I know that we need to get into BCAP, but at this point there's really, I can't do that in a Fiji. You cannot push battleships and survive generally, unless they are of the russet variety. So we're just going to sit here, use up the smoke, and see if we can't take these 2 battleships out and clear the way to get back to B. Both of these battleships play this pretty well. If you're in a battleship and you're coming up against a Fiji, Leander, Edinburgh, or a Belfast that's keen on using his AP, just don't give them broadside. It's really easy to kind of combat these short fused British shells. They don't do very good against angled targets. They do good against, you know, big superstructures, but if they're angled, it's really going to mitigate a lot of the damage that you can do, which, you know, is fairly obvious at this point in the game with 135 target hits and only 35,000 damage. So both of these guys have played really well up until now. For this guy, he just got a little too aggressive, and he gets taken out. But the Nagato as well, he hasn't really given me an opportunity to punish him or do a lot of damage, and that's one of the downsides of these British cruisers. You're going up against a battleship, and they're being intelligent and playing smart. Good luck. The short fused AP shells wreck destroyers and murder broadside cruisers, and they can do a lot of damage to superstructures until a target gets saturated. But against somebody that's smart in armor angling, good luck. One of the other drawbacks to them is at long range, they're kind of floaty, pretty easy to dodge, especially for a destroyer like ARON's. Now this Akatsuki, I'm not sure what he was thinking. Must have lost his mind, but we're going to help him find it and send him back to port here pretty quick. Yeah, if you're in a destroyer, I would never get close to one of these cruisers. Do like the Unicum on the other team does, ARON, and you'll notice he doesn't get within 8 kilometers of me, 9 kilometers of me ever, and that's one of the reasons why he stays alive. Spoiler alert. But the Akatsuki goes down. They are getting a pretty good points lead at this time, and it's looking kind of dire for our team, but we're still even on ships, so I'm hoping that we can turn this around. My plan here is just to poke around the edge of the island, finish off the Nagato, and not give him another opportunity to shoot at me. With as slow as his reload is, I'm hoping we can just take him out, just like that. So now we have an advantage on ships. So earlier in the game, our Scharnhorst and our Mutsu sailed the long way around Sea Cap, which took them out of the game for a little while, but they finally won their side and they're coming back to help. Our Lion has been barely hanging on over there at A and staying alive and requesting some help, but not quite there where I can help him. ARON gets the Mutsu coming out of C, and I'm really hoping that the Scharnhorst can stay alive. My plan here as a cruiser, there's really 2 things that I need to do. One, we have got to get on BCAP to stop their team from accruing points, but also my job would really be to protect that Scharnhorst and to try to keep ARON from torpedoing that guy and taking him out of the game. So I'm kind of torn between which one to do, but if I sail all the way to Scharnhorst, then red team effectively wins the game because they're going to win on points. So my plan is to try to get in the cap, albeit very carefully, as I know there's going to be torpedoes heading towards me. We noticed the other Fiji coming in here, and I try to take a couple shots at him. I figure I'm going to be spotted this whole time anyways by red destroyer. So try to get a couple hits on this guy, maybe distract him from our teammate and protect our Lion. I noticed there that our torpedo launcher had been taken out. I just noticed that. So I'm glad I didn't come to rely on that later. So the sonar reload here for Fiji was a really, really long, and it would have helped a lot if I had it. And these stupid widespread torpedoes, slamming on the brakes, turning in, but still, the British cruisers, one of the things to remember about them is they don't stop. And it sounds like it's a characteristic of the British heavy cruisers as well. They just don't stop. They'll glide forever. So something to keep in mind. Even though I saw those torpedoes coming, and I thought for sure we would just miss it off of the nose, we still ended up catching it. And yeah. So again, the plan is to get here, stop them from accruing points, and then to kind of turn around and angle and to blast this Fiji when he comes around the corner. At this point, seeing that I'm not spotted, well, I'm spotted now. So I take that back. I was going to say that not being spotted there, I think that would be, and I haven't watched Aaron's video yet, but him sailing from around that island at B. So he's over there kind of more on the A side of it there. And when he pops up, I go ahead and put it in full speed ahead because I want to try to get a couple hits on him, and that is the fateful error. I didn't see the torpedoes there until it was too late. And I wanted to turn and try to get my guns on the Fiji, but what I should have done is looked at the torpedoes, slammed it in drive, and then I probably could have slipped through them. But trying to get the guns on the Fiji was my fateful error, and it turned out not to really be worth it. The Lion and the Scharnhorst would have taken him out anyways, and then my focus should have been entirely on the enemy destroyer. But hey, looking back at games, hindsight's always 20/20, and you see how you would have played things differently, done things differently, and that's exactly what I see now. But kind of by doing that, it would have been close if we would have won it, but by me being dead, there's really no way. I think our Scharnhorst and Lion played very, very good games. So I'll definitely take the blame for this one, guys. And I should have put on my try harder pants. But very good torpedo placement by Aaron. That was perfect. Even if it didn't kill me or the Scharnhorst, it would have reset us and kept us from getting B, which is really all he had to do to squeak out the win. Just keep the points flowing in, keep resetting, and that's game. So again, my fault for not looking forward and, dealing with the imminent threat. As a cruiser, you'll hear the good players say basically it's all about staying alive, not dealing damage so much. But if you keep yourself alive, having the longevity in a cruiser is going to lead to big damage numbers and wins for your game. Well, I guess since everyone can see my screen now, my controller didn't die. I'll fess up. I'm a sore loser sometimes, but good game to Aaron. He beat me fair and square. And it's really fun to run into other content creators out there on the open oceans of Legends. I will leave a link to his video, his side of this, in the description below. Go check it out. Check out his channel. Leave some comments. Tell me how I should have played this differently. Like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.